Let me know if my sound is good. Like always, let me straighten this out. There we go. Seeing who's getting on here. What's up, Spider? Let some people get on for a minute. Janabella, how you doing? See what's going on tonight. I got like an hour to kill. Got my daughter doing her homework. How you doing, PA? We the people. I'm one of you. I'm one of the people too. I love you guys. See, San Antonio. My boxing coach moved down there. I loved it down there. Pretty flat. Having a good day today. Celebrated. I got two of my kids and my brother's birthdays are today, so we had a good day today, celebrating and hanging out and wishing them the best. We actually got a party. We didn't actually hang out today, but we got a party that's planned when we're all together here shortly. How you doing, Mr. Douglas? Saved Wretch. Oh, I love you too. I love your comments. I read every one of them. Saved Wretch. I really appreciate that. Feel the love. I'll give it right back. Ronnie, what's up, man? Bruce, how you doing? Cindy, how you doing? Matty Hillier, what's up? Westfield Cyclones. I love it. I love it. I love it. You know, my kids went there too. Me and Matt Hillier right there on the screen. We go back so far. Oh my gosh. Regina, hey. Joe, hey. So if you didn't know, I got 7 kids. So 2 of their birthdays are today. My brother's birthday is today. So been busy. May is an expensive month for me and my wife here. Sending love right back, you guys. What's the weather like over here in Illinois? It stinks, like always. It's always up and down and horrible. I hate it. My daddy is from Vegas. I get mad at him every winter because I hate the cold. Make sure you like this live here. And we're gonna I got some topics that I actually want to specifically talk about today. I made some notes. You gotta be proud of me. So we can just chop it up a little bit. I'll give my thoughts on some stuff and let me know your ideas. I love you guys. I get so many ideas from my viewers. And let me know if my sound is good too. I always got to make sure that I actually got a new computer in the kitchen right now that I got to set up. I actually have my wife set up, and I got a microphone coming, so it'll be. I'm trying to up this experience and get a little bit more professional instead of my ragtag stuff here. Spider from Zion, I love it. I love it. Zion is the greatest city in the world. Sorry to everybody else. I love my city. Zion is it's legendary. There's so much I can tell you about our small little city, small but very busy city. If you know anything about Zion, and if you're from Zion, you know what I'm talking about. Zion, Waukegan, North Chicago, Lake County. That's our own little family. We have a bunch of small towns that are small cities that connect to each other. It's all got the same culture though. Yes, Judy, I have 7. I'm a busy man. I got anywhere from my oldest 26, my youngest is 5. So I'm a very busy dude. I deal with a lot of my family. So if you contacted me, I may be a little bit slow in getting back, especially this month. I had a family tragedy that I'm still dealing with and coping with. So I've been a little sad and slower on looking into things, but I do my best to get to you. And I just appreciate all you guys. So there you go, Maddie. Thank you. Sounds good. Looks good. All right. Thank you for speaking out. SJG Avenger. Most officers are scared to speak out. I wish I could argue with that. I'm the type of guy like just who I am is I really, and if I'm a different breed, then I'm a different breed. I really don't care what other officers think of me. I serve the people. I am one of the people. So if you have an attitude that you don't like me saying things, or I'm supposed to like, don't air out our dirty laundry, I don't care what you think. I get called more names, and you should read some of my inboxes here. It's pretty funny. Doesn't bother me in a bit. Actually, I actually enjoy looking at them sometimes because it cracks me up what some people actually say. But comments on a computer ain't never gonna hurt me. Has any of you has any of you tested Paul the Apostle to see if he's legit? I have done that, sir, Mr. Andrew. That's a whole nother live. That would be an interesting topic. I got to get ready for work, Dakota. I'll check in. I appreciate you even commenting. I love you guys. Much love right back. Mid Stacks, thank you, Matt. You're one in a million. I try to just be myself. That's it. Andrew, I appreciate you, man. Try to be as decent as I can. Peace from California, Lori. Thank you. Peace from Illinois. I'm jealous of you guys and the weather out there. Do you work out at work or do you go to a private gym? I go to a CrossFit gym now. I used to be a semi-pro football player. I did box. I boxed for a long time. But at age of 48, I can't beat up my body very much anymore. And when it comes to physicality and smacking each other around. So I go to CrossFit. It's the closest thing I can find to competition. So we're very competitive. We put a score at the top on the board every day. You just try to go at it with the people there. So that's about as close as I get these days. Try to stay in good shape. Oh my gosh, Pablo, my nephew. If you guys see Pablo on here, right here, Pablo Valencia, that's my nephew. He's running his mouth about Michael Jordan. He is a LeBron James fan, and this will be the forever argument. MJ is the GOAT, Pablo. I'm saying it. I'm saying it forever. And we're not arguing about this anymore. You're going to change your ways. I love you, though, nephew. He's the one I celebrate. He just got his, just came citizen and got all his paperwork. I'm very, very proud of Pablo. He's the greatest nephew I could possibly imagine. Love you, man. And there's my niece right there calling me Mr. Clean. They got my kids calling me that. Bible Clinger, God bless you too. There's a story about an officer that spoke out against a bad officer. After he did that, he feared for his life so badly that he left his family and moved to Russia. Well, I ain't going to Russia. I'm right here. I'm very public. I always say this. No matter what people think of me, I serve a God who says the most common phrase in the Bible, second most common phrase in the Bible, I believe, is "do not fear." So I believe that I am protected, both spiritually and in the physical realm. I can take care of myself. So it doesn't really. I don't fear. I really don't. I think God protects me, and I appreciate that. And if you don't believe in God, that's okay. I love you too. But that's really how I feel deep inside. And I feel that, I mean, people around me protect me either way. Capital Transparency says, most of your subscribers are from shorts. I'm pretty certain your live streams will get more exposure in vertical mode. I certainly wish more cops had your attitude. I'm going to try to figure that out, Capital. I appreciate that. I'm just very technologically, any advice you guys can give me like that, I truly appreciate it. Because I don't know too much about doing this. I understood how to turn a camera on and just speak my mind. But anything that can help me, man, let me know. And you guys sharing my stuff is really helping out a lot too. I get so much outpouring of support from, oh my goodness, from people that are tired of bad policing, and from Illinois to Jamaica to Australia to New Zealand. I get messages from everywhere. Because taking advantage of power it's a common problem, and it's something that we got to fight back against. All right, so let's get from Florida. Love you guys right back. Fear no evil. There you go. That's my phrase. Alfredo, I love you guys right back, man. So what I was going to talk about today, and I got it written down, just some of the common officer safety stuff. I gotta say that I don't remember ever using that phrase in my entire life. There's officer safety. To me, of course, officers should be safe. Of course, they should do their job carefully. And I mean, safety is it goes for every person on earth. Who wants to be unsafe? But that term, to me, has been so ridiculously twisted and used as this coverall for some laughable notions. Like, I don't know if I've ever used that phrase. I honestly don't. I don't think I have. But it's taken advantage of. Like, I've seen so many officers use this safety thing as an excuse to violate rights, as an excuse to do way too much on a call, as an excuse to take advantage of their power. They just hide behind, well, I was in fear, or I did this, or I detained him out of fear, I patted him down or searched him because I was scared. To me, honestly, I was raised around some actual tough guys. Like, that's who brought me up. That's who showed me how to be a man. And it just never came naturally for me as a man, especially when I have 7 kids and 6 daughters, to say out loud that I'm afraid, especially over some of this ridiculous stuff that you see. Um, to me, it's just it never came natural. Like, dude, I'm a grown man. I've been afraid a few times in my life, and I will honestly say it was before I was even a police officer. Now that should be like a like the last step to actually show fear. I'll give you an example. Hold on, let me read a couple of these. Where we die work. Oregon. I'll let a few more people get on here. TDJ, Terry versus Ohio. We'll talk about that too. That's going to be another one. Jody, I feel the same way, Jody. Okay, so listen, we call it, I will always refer to it as cops blaming. I can sit there and say that, you know what, I can't see somebody's hands. They're by their waistline. These are common phrases. Take your hands out of your pockets. Why do you have that stick in your hand when somebody has a cane or a crutch? I mean, these are the stupid things that I see that cops will be using to justify bad actions. And I think the public is onto it because they see it more. With the inception of body cameras, people aren't buying that stuff anymore. So the notion of what I perceive as a threat, or what I perceive is scaring me, rather than an actual threat. To me, a threat isn't a threat until it's a threat. I can't say that, oh, because I don't see your hand, you have a gun, you're gonna kill me. You have to actually see a threat. I hope you guys are following me on that. This whole notion of this thought to me of, no matter what, just go home at the end of your shift. It's making cops put their safety in front of the citizens' safety, what about public safety? What about, you know what, I signed up for this and I've accepted the fact that maybe I won't go home at the end of a shift, but that's what I signed up for. I knew that when I applied for the job. No innocent person should ever be hurt because of a misperceived fear. And you see this way too much. I don't care. Like I don't do this pity party stuff where, oh, so and so, because a cop got ambushed here, that I got to treat everybody like they're a threat to me. I mean, that's just part of the territory. I'm not gonna think that every single person is a threat when I know that's not the truth. Another thing that you always hear is, let me shut this door real quick. 2 seconds. You'll often hear me say, when I see a video, you'll see some amped up cop go hands on with an older lady, or I always say soccer mom. And one of the most common things I hear, and I go in on them, like, why are you putting your hands on that, or why are you acting afraid of a soccer mom? Why are you bringing 4 officers on a traffic stop to a soccer mom and escalating things? I will go in on that, and you'll always get these comments. Well, soccer moms can kill too. soccer moms can shoot a gun too. Like, okay, I understand that, but that is taking the anecdote and the small, tiny percentage of some freak occurrence and making it the narrative. So now you got to beware of all soccer moms. I hear this too, like, oh well, 10-year-old, a 10-year-old. They'll use an example. A 10-year-old brought a gun to school, or a 6-year-old brought a gun to school and shot at a kid. So what does that mean? Does that mean that I have to pat down every kid on a school bus that I see? No, you don't. You don't take that little itty bitty anecdote and make it the narrative, and then do your job as if everybody out there is going to kill you. I just never understood that mentality. Um, and that's what I think that this officer safety, this big push on it, is really making this. It's to me, it's fear mongering. If you train these young kids that everybody out there is going to hurt you, how do you think they're going to act? Especially if they're not street smart. I mean, a lot of cops come out of the academy. I call them Florence Hendersons. Like, some of them have never been in the neighborhood, and they have never dealt with people of other cultures. And you're teaching them to be afraid of every single person that's hands you don't see. What do you think is going to happen? I talk about this extensively in my book. Um, so I think the training is so far off when it comes to this officer safety thing. You bring a bunch of kids who are 21-year-olds. A lot of them are so young, and you drag them in and you show them these videos. I remember one of the first things they ever showed me in the academy was this horrible traffic stop where this cop was just gunned down and murdered, and it was terrible. And it like everyone in there is like so traumatized and shocked that, oh, this is gonna happen to me. Like, to me it's done totally wrong. My niece, who's on here conversating, she'll tell you we have a lot of violence in my city, and it doesn't mean that everyone is going to hurt you. My niece goes out in the neighborhood. She's had no training. She picks up kids from my program all the time. No training, no vest, no backup, no cover officer, no radio. She goes right out there in the nighttime and picks kids up, and it's okay. Like, it's sad that my niece has a different outlook than a bunch of trained officers. She's not afraid. She's not scared. So I don't buy this notion that I think the training needs to just be totally, it's irrational. I think it needs to be totally flipped around and a different outlook comes. And I'm never going to say that it's not okay to be safe, but to take that to the extreme, like I think we do, is how people get hurt. If you have a scared officer, you make bad decisions. We see that over and over and over again. All right, let's get to some of these questions here. Like, stay in your vehicle. Sean Little, that's a reasonable request. I generally have no issue with, unless there's been my car, let me see. Oh, I lost it. Let me try to go up. Yes, we the people, everyone should go home at night. And I've accepted that. I signed up for this knowing that. And if something happens to me, and yes, I don't hide behind this stuff. I've been shot at. I've had knife pulled on me. I've had people try to take my head off. But I don't like hide behind that. I'm still going to treat everyone just until it's a threat. It's not a threat. I don't have to walk around paranoid. And if you can't handle that thinking, and you're afraid, and you're going to act out of fear, then I don't think this is a job for you. Joe, what is the name of my book? My book is named Cop in Crisis to Cop in Christ. You can get it. It's on my Amazon link here. Let's see. Officers need to be held accountable, charged and fired in jail. They're proven to be ignorant tyrants. Job duties to be performed. I think that, and we talked about this last night. I think that that's kind of, you're seeing a little more of that. I mean, when I started, it was unheard of for a cop to get fired, prosecuted, anything like that. It was unheard of. You're seeing a shift where you're seeing this happen more and more often for misconduct. And I think that speaks volumes. And I liken it kind of to the how the Vietnam War went. This is the history that I read, was that people didn't have so much feelings towards the Vietnam War until they actually saw video of what was going on. And when you can see it and you see the carnage, it changes the way that you perceive it. I think a lot of people are seeing this stuff on body cams and they're saying, well, hold on, what's been going on here? And then the second thing that they'll see is they'll naturally think, well, what was going on before there was cameras? This is bad. If you're doing this in front of a camera, what were you doing before there was a camera? So I think that's why the public is very uneasy with this. And it goes back to, I want to make, I'm not saying all this, and don't think that I'm going on. I want to just bash the whole theory of serving and protecting and that I hate cops. I want it to be done correctly. That's it. If you are a sworn servant, I want it to be done correctly. And that's why I think change needs to happen. And nobody really talks loudly enough about this stuff. That's in uniform. I hear plenty from you guys and from supporters. Let's see. Let's get down to some of this here. Supervisory issue. The academy is a fail. I think that there definitely needs to be some changes. I think that the attitude in what an officer actually is. If you have an attitude that, you know what, I have this attitude, and I was taught by a chief of police. What was his name? Williams, I think, from Illinois. He had one of the best classes I ever taken, and his mentality was what I lined up with, is that you're an officer, you're a public servant, you're actually a blessing to the people. The people should feel safe and be honored that you're around. You don't need to fear them. You handle it with valor. You handle it with you have the tools to handle a bad issue, but you use them only when you need to. You don't walk around intimidating people. You don't walk around looking down on people. And he had a perfect attitude. I love that class. Class was called Reach Point. I really enjoyed that class. Kate G, I appreciate it. The book is in my link, and just so you know, I don't make money off my book. It all goes to my nonprofit. So don't think I'm on here like pitching something. And I'm not a Shakespeare either. So there may be I'm working on the second one, but I'm not. It's an easy read, believe me. Yes, Sean Little. They know that you have to know the risk, and I don't like. I never got into why the. By the way, like this video too. That's what I'm supposed to keep telling people that. I never got into the notion of like that woe is me, or you see this bad stuff, or we have it so hard. I understand that. I understand that this job is very stressful. I understand that there are dangers that we go to, but I don't need sympathy for that because I wasn't drafted. You know who gets sympathy? My uncle, who was drafted to go to Vietnam, who was a gunner on a helicopter, and he said he saw more people die in front of him and be drugged across his feet, friends of his, than he could even count. That's who I have sympathy for. He didn't sign up for that. He was made to do it. We signed up for this. So I don't never get into that thinking where anyone needs to feel sorry for me. Anyone needs to blindly support everything that we do. I think we need to be very open-minded and call things what they are. Let's see. Let's see, DeMarcus. I think the rookie probationary period needs to be longer. I think so, and I think it just needs to be better. I think we need to do a better job and chiefs and leaders in departments need to be a better job. Those FTOs, I'm telling you, they're like the most important role in that PD because they're the ones who mold what the new officers are to become. And I think it's the culture of the PD that counts. You know what's funny is that I could walk into any PD around, into their lobby, ask to speak to a couple officers, and I can tell within 30 seconds the culture of the PD. If the people are, you can notice where it's an ugly culture. There's this angry spirit about a PD where people you can tell the officer doesn't want to deal with you. They're not friendly. It's not nothing about customer service. It's all about almost like you're a bother. That's real, and it's proven to be real. And you can tell that culture right away. And that's that culture that needs, man, I wish I could go in there and say, let me meet with your chief. Like this culture here, I can tell what's going on. I can tell that you need to be uplifted. It needs to be. That's why I always hashtag change the culture, because that's what you have to create is a positive culture, and to let other officers know we are a blessing. Act like one. We're for the people. We should be, at least. Let's see. People lost faith in police long ago. Poor dirt farmer. Yeah, sadly. I actually, funny story about me is growing up, I hated the police. I never imagined I'd be one. That's I wrote a lot about that in my book. It's I think understanding, um, you get understanding if you've been where I'm kind of may I use the term on the other side. I remember when I was younger, I did get arrested and I did get charged with a felony and I did have to go shackled in front of a judge, and that sucked. I was 21, and luckily I was able to get that dropped to a misdemeanor, not a felony. Otherwise, you guys would have no clue who I am. But I know what that feels like, so I can empathize with any person who's having to go through that. Like I don't judge anyone. I have no room at all to place judgment on anyone. I know how that feels, so I'm gonna treat them as good as I can. If they broke the law, I'm gonna still treat them with the utmost respect, and I have nothing against them. All my job is to be respectful, be professional. If there's a crime, charge it, and treat them correctly and uphold their rights. That's the only job you have. That's why it makes me so mad when I see officers lecturing people, officers going off on people, officers getting all hurt and personal over after they make an arrest or they'll be in somebody's face. Like, dude, handcuffs is all you need. If they broke a law, cuff them, charge them, de-escalate, which should be the freaking key phrase at every academy, um, for everything that you do, and don't take anything personal. Let's see. York, Pennsylvania, the worst. Let's see. Let's see. Yes, FTOs are very important. Protector's mindset. I think it's a mixture of both, because I mean, the one I went to, I'm not here to bash people specifically very much. I'm going to bash a notion. But I remember seeing some things and getting some ideas and being very like head scratchy moments what they were showing us at the academy. Let's see. Oh, computer plugged in. Hold on 1 second, guys. Oh, there it goes. Make sure we're good here. Told you I'm computer illiterate. There we go. Yes, officer SJG Avenger. Officer safety is over public safety in the minds of most officers. That's true and sad. I think that needs to be flipped around. Period. No innocent person should ever be hurt. Um, the minimum force necessary ever to effect an arrest should always be used. I've had, in 20 years, I've had a million, and people that I've worked with too have had a million different people resist. But the goal is to not hurt anybody. I've been some knockdown dragouts, but I don't hurt anybody. And the second you take them in, it's over with, man. You good? You okay? It's cool, man. I ain't mad at you. That's one of my key phrases I always use when I get somebody in handcuffs that's aggressive or something. It's like, bro, I'm not mad at you. I got to do my job. Let's get you processed. Let's take care of you. I want to get you out of them cuffs so we can get in and we can be cool. And let's just, I don't take it personal. It's okay, brother. I say that a million times. It's like one of my favorite terms is when I get somebody in the squad. And I hate arresting people, by the way. I don't like downfall of anybody. I don't like ruining anybody's day, but it's part of my job. And if the law is broken, but that's like my favorite term. Say, hey, I ain't mad at you, man. It's okay. That's how you de-escalate. Another thing is man to man, and this is what has helped me a lot. Man to man, Just being soft, looking somebody in their eyes and putting a hand on the shoulder. It's okay, man. It's okay. I ain't mad at you. Let's get this handled. It's not the end of the world. I mean, that's kind of my MO whenever I've had to arrest somebody. Mike Toledo, doing great with brother. I enjoy watching all your videos and really like how your actions speak louder than words. I appreciate that, brother. I pray right back for you. Let's see. What else did I have down here to run my mouth about? I like running my mouth. It's you guys actually helped me a lot. Like I said, I suffered a horrible family tragedy, and just getting on and talking and seeing that I do have a lot of love and support, it really uplifts me, gives me strength. So man, I love, like I'll keep saying, I wish I could meet and hug and hang out and chop it up with everybody on here. Heck, maybe one day it'll happen. Maybe we'll have a big convention. Let's see. I always called it like self-tension. You don't need to create self-tension. I think when you get hired, one of the most specific things that you look for when you're hiring an officer is their street smarts. Have they been there? Who'd you come up around? Have you seen the culture that you're about to be policing? Stuff like that. And you're not nervous around it. My city right now, when I was hired, my city was about 40% African-American, 40% Caucasian, and 20% Hispanic. Now it's kind of like a third of each. But there's a certain way there's a certain culture that you police with, and you got to understand the culture of the city. And that's what makes you a good cop. And part of that is you're from the area that you police. To me, that's we don't need to get all these points for well, you get points for military on the test, you get points for college on the test, but you don't get points for have you been there? Are you from? Do you genuinely love this place? I think we need to. You need to give points on applications to people that are from there. Let's see. Joaquin, I understand it's two different lines of work, but as a soldier, we weren't allowed to shoot unless shot at first in a war zone. Yeah, it's not a perceived threat, Joaquin, right? It's an actual threat. That's what me and my cousin talk about a lot. He's a war veteran. Said you can't just act on a perceived threat. You can't think, oh, he's got a gun because he's got his hand in his pocket reaching for a cell phone or a brush. We've seen people be killed over that. And that should never happen. That should not happen once in history. If it's not a threat, it's not a threat. And I get a lot of backlash on that, but that chance that somebody is going to hurt me is what I knew going in. They'll always sell you on this. One of the big things that they harp on is that, and it's an obvious thing, is they'll always say in training that action is quicker than reaction. So that'll get these guys, oh, well, it'll get these young minds, these young officers thinking, oh, well, I got to act first. I got to do something quick. But there's no threat. You don't have to act. I understand that reaction is going to be slower, but that's one of the inherent risks that I knew I was going to get into when I got this job. So I think that whole notion that it just plants the wrong seed to me. So it gets a lot of young officers thinking, okay, well, if action is quicker than reaction, I need to start acting and I need to get to some action. But you shouldn't get to that unless there's an actual threat. There are even GS30. Hey, how you doing? I love you. I love you. I always get all your messages. Even some criminals who could be tremendous cops. I don't think the hiring process should be so black and white. I could not agree with you more. I've seen during hiring processes, they'll look, and if a guy's got a charge or a guy's got hung out with some people or had some police contacts years ago. I understand if he was just last week smoking weed and getting high with some people some notorious street guys, and he's still in that life. But if this was before and you had experience and you've proven that you kind of walk in a decent law-abiding life, why not take a chance? The street smart dudes are the best cops. I'm telling you. I think Angelia and Marvin. I think the officers should be from the community they work. I passed through deputies that live 2 counties away. They work from. Yeah, I'm all for that. I've actually I couldn't agree with you more. Uh, let's see. So here's another thing that I see that's wage and this is something that I have a huge problem with now, right, even right now, is officers that flood calls. Do you understand how intimidating it is to have to, number one, to be pulled over? I, to this day, when I'm driving down the street and there's a cop behind me, my heart rate goes to about 300 beats a minute, just out of nature, my whole life. If it's a cop behind you, you think something is up. What did I do wrong? I mean, your mind races. So if you do happen to pull somebody over, the thing that I cannot stand is when you'll see four other cops coming and just flooding the call. Number one, it's a terrible look. I've had bosses that will go off on you for doing that. And number two, it's a show of intimidation. And I think that too many officers just brush that off and don't care about it. And oh well, like we gotta put ourselves in the citizen's shoes. If I'm pulled over and there's four cops behind me, like I'm terrified. Like, what's going on? But so many times you'll see officers not care about that. Officers like pay that no mind. Oh well, I'm just doing my job. We gotta stop with that attitude. We have an attitude too much of not putting ourselves in that person's shoes. It goes back to what I talked about before. Someone that you have to arrest. How would you feel if that was your child? How would you feel if that was your son? Would you want another grown man talking to your child like that? Would you want your child to sit there and be lectured? This happened a long time ago. I remember, and I wanted to punch this cop right in his face. Um, my son, he was a little boy. He accidentally called 911 on the cell phone. I mean, it was cell phone. He's grown now. He's 24. So cell phones had just come out, and he accidentally dialed 911. So this officer comes. I got to knock on my door. I wasn't aware that he did that. So I let the officer. I talked to him real quick. Like, what's going on? He said, we got a 911 call. So I look at my son, and he's a terrified little 6, 7-year-old boy. He was like, "Oh, Poppy, I'm sorry, I was playing with the phone." So I turn it off, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, man, he must have had that. He hit that emergency button. My bad. I apologize. I'll talk to him about it. And sorry that you had to come out here." He couldn't leave it at that. This officer couldn't leave it at that. He had to sit there and start lecturing my son in front of me, telling him about, well, you shouldn't do that. And like, okay, Captain Obvious, you can get out of my house now. This is why there's such a disconnect. This is why people don't like cops. You're in another man's house. He just said he was going to handle his own son, but you chose the option that you had this big authority that you were going to interject yourself and kind of elbow his father out of the way. How do you not understand that? How do you not see that that's why people can't stand and think that we're just full of ego and on power trips? That's the type of stuff that can make somebody and somebody's family detest the police for life. It's got to go away. That's what I always refer to ego policing. Don't take yourself so seriously, bro. You're in somebody's house. The dad just told you he'll take care of it. Get out of here. Go 10-8. What if every cop had to purchase an insurance policy covering their wrongdoings? Man, Wags, that's something that needs to be explored. Man, could you imagine that would clean up some behavior? The violating somebody's rights and knowingly doing it. Why should you qualify to be immune to anything? It's crazy how that works. There's something that needs to be done about that. I agree with you wholeheartedly. There you go. I'll take my ass chewing by a judge, not a cop. That's not our job. It's not our job to lecture all the grown folks. I've never said I've never given a lecture. I get a lot from my wife. She's the only one allowed to do that. But I've never given another. I work in a school. Now I do. During the school year, I work in a school. So I'll talk to kids. I don't even lecture the children. I will talk to them if they need correction. I'll discuss stuff with them. But I've never felt the need to lecture, especially another grown adult. Hit the like button, by the way. I got to keep saying, I got to remind myself. But I've never had the need or the urge to lecture another grown up. You know why? Because I put myself in their shoes, and I don't want to hear nothing from another grown up. You don't need to lecture me. I'm a grown man. That's one. That's another thing. And a lot of a lot of cops, what they need to stop doing and what they need to improve on is understanding that. Um, Heck, I got kids older than cops now. My grown kids are 26, 24 years old. They're not gonna lecture me on anything. If I broke the law, okay, write a ticket. You don't need to lecture grown folks. Ever. Let's see. Hawks fan for life. Do seems like see someone. If you're referring to me, brother, that's my dream. That's my dream. How do you co-workers respond to your videos, Angelia? Um, it's kind of a mixed bag. I know it's cool. I have such a connection to the streets because I run my nonprofit. I like this. That's my priority is the public. My priority in my city is the streets. I grew up there. I love the streets. I treat everybody and love everybody equally. I run a nonprofit that's poured hundreds of thousands of dollars back into my city, and they tell me things. People on the streets they let me know what other officers think of me, and I don't take it personal. It's kind of expected, but I do get a lot of love too. It kind of breaks my heart that other officers wouldn't at least see the rationale in the things I say. I don't say it hatefully. I don't say it. I speak truth in love, and if the truth bothers you, I don't know what to tell you. But I don't hold it against you. If you have a totally different opinion, I'm not mad at you. I don't have no hate towards you. So I don't understand why people can't like deal with that without just showing me disrespect or showing me hatred. But a lot of the youngsters, and I got some cops that really do support me. I've had some big city officers inbox me and say, "Man, we're rooting for you." That makes me happy. But nothing makes me happier than you guys' support. I love reading your comments and the people that will ride for me on here. I love it. Todd House lectures, unnecessary directives. Being yes, what always kills me are these unnecessary directives. Because I'm an officer, I do not need to give any directives to grown-ups. I made some videos on that actually did pretty well. When officers are telling people, okay, don't walk in the street, you're gonna get hit by a car. Like, bro, Captain Obvious, you really need to tell another grown-up that. I literally tell that to my 5-year-old. But you keep seeing videos of officers saying that to other grown folks. Like, dude, you're making us look like idiots. You're making morons out of us. We got to stop doing that, fellas. Let's see. Boom, I got Randy Man. Boom, you got the magic. What are the first 3 things you fix with police? Attitude adjustment, public first, and then public safety, then ours. That's number 1. Liability stuff. The taxpayer shouldn't pay. If you hurt somebody, the taxpayer shouldn't be the ones paying for it. You should be. Let's see. Number 3. I would say if you really want to bridge the gap, then bridge the gap. I don't want to hear rhetoric and nonsense unless I see action. If it was up to me, there would be and I ran a police department. There would be a flag football game on every street corner involving the police. We would be at every public event. We would be at every nonprofit event. We would be one of the people. We would actually serve and be intermixed, kind of like just like the barber is, just like the local pastor is. Like, we would intermix with the public, and you wouldn't really be hardly even tell, besides the uniform, that this is an officer. This is one of us. That's what I would in a dream world. That's what I would do. Oh, Max Carver, I appreciate that, man. Sean, I appreciate you, brother, man. That means a lot to me. Yeah, my dream, if all cops carry themselves behaved similar, I don't think we'd be having this conversation. That's why I have these kids. That's why I run my mouth. That's my dream. I just want to bring people together. That's why you'll never hear me like I don't disrespect any political view, or I just don't really get into that. I'm into unity, and in the political world, I see, and God bless anyone that's in that. Me personally, here's the way I look at it: is it's almost like uh, if we disagree, we're enemies, and I don't see I don't see that moving us forward. I don't. It seems like if let's say if I was in the political world, I only need 51% of people to love and support me, but the other 49 I don't need. But to me, I need 100% of people coming together. That's my dream. And people call me crazy, but a lot of people call Martin Luther King crazy too. But he united a lot of people. You're not going to change every mind. 100% is obviously that's crazy thinking by me, but I shoot high. My dream is to unify people and to if you just follow me tomorrow. I want to bring you guys to my nonprofit and see what goes on every Friday after I get off of work, and the unity and the love that you see. It's really a beautiful thing. There's been a couple of documentaries made on it, but the way that I look at the public and the way that I police, I back up and it works. So all you gotta do is look. Let's see. Prove all things honest. Which one is that? Oh, you recorded that video that cop didn't know the amendments. Oh my gosh. I think I know the one you're talking about. Oh, that was. Oh my gosh. It's fun. I'm the type of dude that if I see something embarrassing, I find funny. I'm just gonna call it out. It's funny. It's funny. And let me know if that's what I'm thinking of. Hmm. Yeah, Patrick, stop teaching the police to be chicken at the chicken bleep at the academy. I got daughters on here. I can't use foul language, but yeah, that's kind of what I opened up with. The fear, I call it fear mongering. Uh, just accept some of the inherent risks that come with this job. People that are afraid make dumb decisions. People that are constantly thinking that everyone around them is going to hurt them make quick and dumb decisions, and people have lost their lives over that, and that should never happen. Just talk to the families of someone who's lost their life for doing nothing, for being unarmed, and it's really sickening. It really is. We I think we speak too often about this topic without understanding that there's a family that's got to live the rest of their lives without their loved one because of some overreaction. Um, I really take that personal. I love people. I've suffered a lot of loss in my life, and I would do anything to have them loved ones back. And to see somebody lose their life is over something they shouldn't have. It's injustice at its highest level, and that's more than a talking point. That's more than some political perspective. That's a real human being with a real family, with probably kids, and most of them have kids, and that'll grow up without a mother or father. Like that's deep, and that should never happen. And I guess that's part of the reason why I'm so passionate about this stuff. And to think that some notion or some ideology or training added to this, or had anything to do with this or contributed in any way, it hurts my heart. Let's see. Let's see. Yes, I do remember that one. The LT that thought the amendment said freedom. Oh my goodness, that was that in an airport. I do a lot of videos, but yeah, oh my gosh, if you're the one who shot that man, that was good stuff. Oh my goodness, yes. Maybe not the airport. I'm trying to think, but I do. I remember exactly the one you're talking about. Oh my gosh, Wags, that's awesome. Hawks, disagreements is what build this country. Today, people's feelings get in the way. We can't separate the difference. That man, that's all day long. Such a good point. If you disagree with me, I believe in Jesus Christ. If you're an atheist, okay, I love you. We don't have to agree. I believe in. I can't stand the blue line stuff and the us versus them notion. Okay, if you don't agree, you can talk to me. I'm not going to hate you. It goes for anything. You're not my enemy because you don't agree on a political thing, on a moral thing. It's okay. That's why people. There's so much division going on now. Heck, me and my wife don't agree on anything hardly in life. We come from two separate worlds, and we there's so many things we disagree on, but it's okay. You're never going to find it, and I think in this country, because you disagree with me, I don't like you is the common thinking, and that's got to change, man. Uh, ask how they can expect us to trust and respect them when they act like that. Ken, I think they have no interest in that. Um, I respect your way of thinking. That's what I keep saying. How do we expect to bridge any gap? How do we expect to earn any trust or make anyone respect us when you keep seeing stuff like this? When and this is not, I can't, I resent this notion that these are isolated incidents. If they're so isolated, why can we not keep up with them? Because there's so many of them. If they're so isolated, then why does it pop up day after day after day after day? You'll see something like this. I don't believe that. We need to knock it off, and it just needs we find the root causes and make a change. Prove all things are. Man, I love that. Hey, I'm gonna be retiring soon. It's almost the end of my run. I've been in 20 years, so we'll see what's next for me. I'm gonna be looking for work. So, you guys know anyone? I would love to train. I would love to do some stuff that you guys are doing. I would love to do a lot of different things. I'll be open to it. So let me know. There you go, SJG Avenger, would you disarm a citizen who is lawfully carrying a firearm? Absolutely not. I've been to calls like that. Guns don't make me afraid. I remember going to a burglary and it's happened quite a few times where someone will have a legal gun, like holding it right in their hand. And I understand that's who called and they're protecting their own house. Like, I don't care. Hey, that's cool. What kind is it? Cool. Have at it. That doesn't make me nervous. There's guns everywhere. I was raised when my granddaddy taught me how to shoot when I was 11, out in the desert in Vegas. Like that, just because somebody, if they legally have it, I have no that good. I want you to legally have it. God bless you. Let's go shoot sometimes. Can it speak to the stigma of mental health in policing? It seems like cops are told to pretend they're okay if they have PTSD or something similar, which leads to breakdown on the job. That's part of what I wrote my book on. It's a huge problem in the policing world is mental health. It never excuses bad behavior though. Let me get that out of the way. But you do need to stay on top of it. We see a lot of bad things. I'll never deny that. We see terrible things. We go into dangerous situations. We have cortisol dumps all the time, way too often, and than a normal human being. But we have resources to stay ahead of that now. We talk about that stuff now, and it should never. You should never leave it unattended. And if a department sees that any behavior is going on, they should just stomp it right out. They should put that flame right out and stay on top of any PTSD, any signs of depression, any self-destructive behavior. You should be on top of that. These are your people that you hire, that they're representing you. So that needs to be put away real quick. But and as someone who's suffered from post-traumatic injury, as someone who's been through many tragedies on the job and off the job during my career, it has never once excused any bad behavior. I never took it on the people. I never had my love and the way that I cherish the public has never swayed, and it should never sway ever for any cop. So that should never. The mental health is never an excuse. I understand it. Stay on top of it. I've cried and prayed with many officers that's struggling, but I will always hold them to the standard that I hold every cop to. Let's see. Robert Hall, Long Island audit is the best. I love Sean. Sean, I've been on the show a couple times. Oh, you guys should have seen the whirlwind that caused too. A lot of backlash for going on Sean's show. Sean is legit. Sean has he was a very generous dude to me. He was very kind to me. He I can't speak enough for the way that he treated me. My hats will always go off to him, and I consider him a really, really genuine, good dude. He's a friend, and agree with him, disagree with him. I know his heart, and I know that he wants the same thing that I do in this world. Let's see. Good to see you, Security Guard Channel, man. I'm gonna get with you soon. I told you that, man. Good to see you too, brother. I love what you got to say. Yes, that's coming. That's coming. I got some stuff going on. I got some stuff and I'll get with you soon. You know how to get a hold of me, brother. Jeff Gray, honor your oath. I love that dude too. Sits there and holds a sign. Sits there and holds a sign to see if that slip of paper called the Constitution is upheld. I think it's genius. Yes, there you go. EMTs and medics see a lot. They don't take it out on the people. Yeah, I agree 100%, Joe. Let's see. Terry, you're a read. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Let's see. Yes, good guy activism. Yes, we will never bridge the gap as long as egos exist. And if you see an ego, and it's our job on the PDs to track that. If you see an ego and you see somebody taking out on a citizen, like address it like right away and do it sternly. Like there's never ever an excuse for it. And you can look, as much as I run my mouth and as much as I'm public about where I work, somebody find a person on the street that I've dealt with in 20 years that I've ever talked bad to or disrespected. You think that after all these videos, I got 1,000 videos out here on YouTube, you think someone would come forward by now if I actually did? So I back up what I do. I don't disrespect. I walk the walk. I don't just talk the talk. I've never disrespected anybody. I treat people with respect. It's not that difficult to have egoless policing is not difficult. Be a human being. Put yourself in the public shoes and do what you signed up for. You don't need to have an attitude. You don't need to have a chest swole out like this. You don't need to want to hurt anybody. I don't understand why a lot of people think this is such an impossible and some euphoric milestone to achieve. It's not hard. Be a decent dude. Be a stand-up guy. It's not very hard. There's no magic pill other than just be a stand-up guy, or girl if you're a female officer. We need to get rid of all them egos. Good guy activism. By the way, I love your stuff, man. I really do. That's just fact. Get rid of them egos, man. No, I'm let's see, looking for school resource officers in Marion County, Florida. That'd be cool. I'd love to move to Florida. But here's one thing that I don't know if people know this about, because I read a lot of comments that don't understand. I'm a school resource officer for the last 2 years, but before that, I worked on the patrol. I was a patrol on the street in my city for 11 years, and then I did 6 years. Let me do my Zion math. 7 years in the detective bureau. It's just these last 2 years that I've been in the school. So in that time that I was on the street, there's nothing I didn't see. Zion is a very, very busy city, and I've worked everything imaginable. When I was in the detective bureau, they put me on mostly violent crimes. The only thing I don't do is computer crimes, because you see how computer stupid I am, and math is not my thing. So financial crimes, they didn't really give me too much of that. It was all violent crimes, obviously shootings, homicides, any type of assaults is what I worked, and I've seen it all. I could tell you story after story after story. If you want to get a grasp on how busy my city can be, because a lot of people will Google my city and they'll say, oh, it's a little city of 25,000 and he's a small time cop. He doesn't do real police work. That's ridiculous. Anyone that knows anything about Lake County in northern Illinois, anyone on here from around here, jump on and give my back on that. They would they'll let you know. All I got to do is spit these numbers right here. I run that nonprofit for kids specifically in my city. And then since we started several years back, we keep counting. It's hard for me to even say out loud. 70 of our kids, 70 of just the kids that I mentor, 70 have been hit with gunshots. Like they've been shot. We've lost 15 or 16 different ways, death, murders. We've lost several to prison for extended amounts of time. So we have a very busy city that I love. Nonetheless, I love it. I will lay my life down. I love my city I grew up in. But that kind of gives you a notion that I'm not just a small time. I don't work in Mayberry, which I get comments a lot. I do have done actual police work. So don't get that twisted. And anyone on here that knows anything about Northern Illinois knows that I'm telling the truth. So let's see. Let's see what we got. Oh, there you go. You've been to Zion SJG Avengers. Yep, that's my little city. Coolest little city on earth. Let's see. We got here. Here's another thing. This is kind of off the police topic. I get a lot of this too sometimes, and I get a good laugh at it. People, I am not 5 feet tall. Everyone always sees because my wife is the same. She's got like me by a quarter inch. She's just about 5'8". I'm 5'7". I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but I'm not 5'1" or some little itty bitty guy. I'm 5'7", 185. Let's get that out of the way. So I get people call me bad names. They always mess with my size. Like I'm just this tiniest little guy. I'm not the biggest guy, but 5'7", 185. I'm not a pushover either. So that's actually one of the most things I get trolled on. And my daughter happens to be 5'9". She's taller than me. What can I say? I have no control over my height. Let's see. Let's see what we got. Yes, Patrick, this is one thing that the public doesn't understand. He said the police need to stop asking for ID over everything. I've seen, and I don't get it. There's so many different theories on why that is. Why everyone feels the need to, like, you have to ID everybody. I get it. If you want to know who people are, you can. It's just there's so many different reasons. There's a bunch of different topics and reasons for this, but yeah, you don't need ID over everything. It's unless Raz exists, and just get so tired of seeing it, and that's what I think. I think the auditors are so genius at doing, is calling that out. And they understood that. And then you know what else the auditors make America think is that, you know what, they keep trying to push this ID stuff for everybody right on camera. What was going on before the cameras were around? That's what makes people upset. And that's why you're seeing people call out the BS now. Let's see. ID crack, I call it the same thing too. Why these guys are so obsessed and they're willing to, some of these guys are willing to get sued, and I don't get it. I don't get it. If there's no Raz, I don't need to know who you are. I can ask if I'm really that curious. I can ask, hey, what's your name, bro? And I just don't need your first name. Let's see. TDG. How often do you do lives here on YouTube? I gotta start doing them more. I do it like I'm gonna start doing them more. I got a new computer. I actually ordered a microphone. I want to start doing like a consistent and have some people on. My boys from my program want to go on videos so bad. There's so many remarkable stories from the program that I run in my city. Everything from kids that get out of prison to kids that are struggling with life, that we've been able to keep them, make them family, bring them up, baptize them, teach them about the Lord, see their lives change in front of us. There's so many cool stories. We actually have, let's see, from kids that I've mentored in my program, we have right now one in the NBA. I'm gonna try to get him on to do a video with me. I love you, brother. I love you, Admiral, and my guy. One that just signed to Fresno State. I kind of run a basketball program, but it's kind of like just an open door. We have some fabulous athletes in there. We have Jason was a linebacker, just won the division, one of the college NCAA, not the Division One, but I think it was a Division Two or a Division 1A national championship. He just won that twice in a row. So we have some fabulous young kids. Young kids that I've seen turn their lives around. Young kids that I've seen um, in the process of changing things around. They're really intrigued about what's going on in our mentoring program. So it's really, really cool. They want to come on. A lot of them want to come on here. Why is it so hard for officers to admit they're wrong? Are they taught to never admit guilt in the academy or in training? That goes back to ego. That's what good guy activism was talking about. That's all ego. That's pride. And that's the thinking that I'm this this righteous, high and mighty dude who's trained, and I am the law. And it's all comes down to pride. I think that a lot of the academy will teach the CYA stuff where you think that you can't openly, like you have to cover yourself no matter what. So I guess that may lead to a lot of it. But to me, it just boils down to pride. The number one thing a man, being a man and being a man of respect is to admit that, my bad, I apologize. There's so much power in that. But if you have an ego and you think you take yourself too seriously, you're not going to see that. It's sad. But a lot of officers take themselves way too seriously. So how do we fix that? Man, keep talking about it, call it out, demand change, demand a change in attitude, demand a change in the culture and what the culture allows. If it was up to me, if I had a say in it, I would mandate that the department heads, if you can see disrespect on you, because you can watch every call that every cop goes to, you're not calling it out and you're not squashing it like right then and there, then it's an issue. The disrespectful attitude, hateful attitude, and looking down on people is what leads to everything worse than that. It's the seed. Christ even talked about that. The seed of hatred in your heart is what leads to violence. It what leads to injustice. What leads to at the ultimate is that it leads to murder. That's what he was talking about. Any seed of hatred and disdainment towards your fellow man is what leads to that. And I think it should be weeded out immediately. It's easy to spot, not hard. Let's see. Steve Beard, I'm a former PO, worked on a college campus, was very strict on how officers treated students, as it should have been. I was shocked when I moved to city departments. The treatment to city citizens shocked me. That is the culture. It is a different culture. It is that's all ego. That's all it is. It's all ego, and that's a culture that's allowed. It's not hard. I mean, it starts with just somebody being a man. I don't allow that around me. Another officer, you're not going to disrespect. They just know. I'm a grown man. You're not going to talk to. These are my people. That's what I say. I'm from here. These are my people. You're not going to talk to them like that. You're not going to disrespect them like that while I'm there. And I think every cop should have that standard. Good guy activism. I get that hope, or I get that feeling quite a bit, but it doesn't mean I'm not going to try. I'm going to keep doing what I do, and pray for change. The only thing that I can really do is I'm just one person, and I think that this all started with a seed of me talking, and I think it's going somewhere, and you can see steadily a shift. So doing what I can, man. But I appreciate you, man. Oh, here we go. Ken Johnson. In this day and age, every department I train its officers on the laws for ID. Yeah, that's the truth. Like, how do you I look at these videos, and you'll see something that's so obvious. I'm like, bruh, how do you not watch auditor videos that have been around for a long time now, and not think to yourself like, dang, I'm about to go viral looking like a moron. Like, how do you not see that? How does this still go on? It's still like, like on a even if you are tyrannical, how do you not know that you're about to embarrass yourself and probably cause a lot of stress and probably some money? How do you not know that by now? Like, dude, what are you thinking? It's hilarious. I don't get it. I don't get it. Let's see. Hey, there you go, Sean. You can have ego about small things, but these are people's lives you're talking about, and it comes down to the human factor. And I think from experience, have you ever been mistreated by the police? I know I have, and I know I can tell you. Goes back 30 years ago. I can tell you the officer's name. I can tell you what he said. It sticks with you. The injustice, the humiliation. Um, I've been stopped years ago for unlawful reason. I've been because I know the rules now. I know he wasn't supposed to be doing that. Um, so yeah, how can I not call this out? If it's still in my brain 30 years later. That was just the first one I remember. If it's still on my heart and it still upsets me to this day, how could I turn around and not call that out and let any of that ride? You have the power to affect people's lives. Um, why not do it in a positive way? Let's see. All right, what time we got? I'm about to wrap this up. So let me know. Hit me in the comments after I upload this. What is the best time to go on? Because I love all you guys. I love talking about this stuff, and we'll bring up different topics. There's so many different things that I like to talk about and get ideas. I get so many ideas from the comment section and from you guys that it really helps me out. I get different views and different thoughts and ideas and where you're coming from. I want to have an open mind, and if there's something that you want to talk about, or there's something that you think needs to change, throw your ideas towards me, because I love discussing this stuff, and you can't make any change if you don't talk about it first. So I'm gonna get out of here. I love all you guys. Have a good night. Mama's gonna be home in about a half hour, and if I don't get these chores done, I won't be alive to make any more lives. So I love you. Take care. God bless you guys. If you get a chance, shout out my children for their birthday, and we'll be talking soon.